Hello, beautiful people, and I am so excited to have you back on the 2024 panel. If you're watching or if you're listening, wherever you're at, we are pumped today because I get to talk with one of my favorite people in the world, Sarah Yip. Hello, darling.
Hi, I've been feeling this come in for 6 weeks.
Well,
Waking up in the middle of the night, go, oh, more downloads.
more downloads, more downloads. It's a very exciting numerology year in 2024. And of course, I'm a numbers nerd, as we all know, but I love Sarah as she dives deep into, this is her specialty. If you haven't already known this, if you haven't been watching the panels each year, Sarah comes on and gives this exquisite download on all things eight. And of course, it's going to be a very different eight than the last 8 year because we were at a 2015. So we have different numbers involved. So I'm going to, as per usual, sort of hand it over to Sarah and we'll have conversation and do whatever. I've got some notes. I'll take notes while you're chatting, Sarah, but I love your expertise on this. And of course, just like as a little preface too, it's the year of the dragon, which is highly connected to China. The word itself is a it's a 8 country. That's as well, right. So and when I look back into 2015, we had like the Bangkok bombing, some sort of Chinese global financial crisis, the EU money crisis, the Bali 9 were executed, bushfires in Adelaide, and just very interesting sort of correlations that even my Chinese astrologer, who hopefully everyone's watched as well, I always bring Sarah on and Renee on as the bonus non-astrologers, but giving something that we actually need, which is Chinese astrology and numerology. But she also said to really look at, like, China will be in the spotlight with this year of the dragon, leaders, things like that. And it really lines up to 8 energy as well, Sarah. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what you've got to share with our audience. And I'll let you take it away, darling.
Oh, well, thanks, Tiana. You're just a good human. And I can tell you when you launched all your events recently and I booked in, I was like, oh God, pull your finger out because next year is going to come in early. Because it's an 8 and 8s don't like to miss out on anything. They want value for money. So I thought, oh gosh, so I've already, I'm starting this week with my call. So thanks for that. You're a wonderful teacher.
Thank you.
So the 8, I mean, let's start with some symbolism. So when we look at the 8, we see the eternity symbol. It's really interesting. Eternity, God, karma, faith, hope, these all have 8 vibrations. And so what the 8 is really what goes around comes around. And really this is a harvest year for what we really put into place in 2017 and of course even earlier than that. So that's the first thing for people to think about. Also, 8 looks like a racetrack, and this is about free will and how fast do you want to go, and do you tend to crash, and is it time to learn from people who do this professionally? This is interesting, of course, because 8 in my system is the boss and the professional, the one who raises the standards, the one who gets back up again, hence the quote, fall down 7 times, get up 8. So 2023 was your year to fall down, and a lot of people are like, man, I got concussion and my finances are looking a bit purple, and and 8 is the year to come back. But in order to come back in the 8 year, you've got to work with the professionals. This is not just like external professionals. This is about you going into yourself, through yourself, working with your highest guides, your past lives, your future selves, your entire self. And so really the big symbol I've been getting my clients to use, which I'll be doing meditations on, is the jumbo angels. Now, have you heard of jumbo angels? I'm sure there's other words for them, maybe archangels. I don't know. I call them jumbo angels. So the idea is
archangels, yes, but yes, the big guns, right?
Cool people who help us. You would imagine that behind me, you just see a giant big toe. So that would be part of my jumbo angel. And so if you could imagine the Statue of Liberty, Christ the Redeemer, that's the size we're talking. And so I'm encouraging everyone to just walk with those jumbo angels from now on and imagine they're pouring money in your account, they're removing things that don't belong, that they could carry you across the oceans of your doubt. As someone who doesn't like flying but flies all the time, I have to actually imagine the plane is on an angel's bum. Because I can't get in the plane without that. And so I'm just saying, I've been practicing this a long time. It really works. Of course, it's a little bit of a mind trick, let's face it, but Jumbo
I love
for your
this though.
friend.
I've just written down walk with jumbo angels and let them carry you across the oceans of doubt. Sarah, she always drops these beautiful nuggets, everyone, and I'm writing them down. So make sure you've got your pen and paper out because, yeah, that's so beautiful. I love that.
Well, the idea of a higher self is very amorphous, and a lot of people can't quite grasp it. But when you say, you've got to imagine it's like having a Statue of Liberty next to you. That's voice activated. People are like, oh, oh, right. And so that's the internal power as well. So that's just a little tip. Other things with the 8 symbolism, if we just put it vertical, of course, it's about balance. It's about building. So its counterpart number is 4. This is really interesting. So 2020, when I did my forecast, I said there's going to be a panic bug. It's to do with the heart and lungs. We'll all be staying home. The new children need us to be at home, blah, blah, blah. COVID. And that wasn't pretty at all. Now, that was in our 4 year of opening our hearts and really coming into what have we created? Are we happy with it? Or do we just do it out of duty? And that's when a lot of people had like epiphanies about their partners or about their lives, right? Of course, not negating the tragedy that happened then as well. But what I want to say is 2020 is then influencing 2024. 2024 is the year when we get through the largest learning part of that process. Of course, the ripple effects will be for generations, let's face it. But I hope that made a little bit of sense because 2 4s are 8 and the numbers go together and they're friends. And so we have a year where it's like, what did you learn in 2020 when you're in lockdown? What are you going to bring into the world to make sure that that kind of pain doesn't happen again? Where are you going to build up your immune system financially, spiritually, emotionally, physically? You know, where are you going to like practice? I've been getting right into Chinese medicine that has an, very strong 8 energy. And like, for example, acupuncture actually adds to 8, stuff like that. And, that's all about prevention. And instead of walking around afraid, that something's going to just kind of drop from the sky on you, it's about really having regular check-ins with yourself, your guides, your people. So there is an early warning system if you need to take action. So in this number 8 year, it's about systems, it's about groups, it's about the collective. Look, some of those words are a bit jargony. What I'm really trying to say is this is the year to invest. Investing is a loaded term. People are like, oh, I just need to put money in like a fund and wait a long time. No. Investing it's really like a lot about your intention for your life. I mean, did you come here just to spend time or save time, or did you come here to actually change the planet? It's a big year. Did some of that make sense?
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah. And I love the, of course, 8 and 4 going together, but also 2024 having 2 2s and a 4. Again, it's a really unique, it's actually is nicely balanced in opposed to 2015 with that 5,
that was super awkward. That was like even
right. Exactly. So I feel the balance that you're talking about here. Yeah.
Now in chakras, so there's a Chakra Chimes handmade by my friend Alvina. So it's the sacral chakra, the 2, the heart chakra, the 4. If the sacral chakra is out, the heart chakra can't operate as a transformer. This is a very deep emotional healing time. Purgy, one of your favorite words. And yeah, you can't avoid your feelings this year. And the feelings will be big. And there could be a lot of people going, oh, I thought I dealt with this. Apparently there's still some drags. But here's the thing, like use those feelings to move yourself into a place where you have support. Like I've often found, this is going to sound strange, but there'll be certain people, and when I see them, I just want to cry. And I've learned actually to just cry. And it's so interesting, not always, but often, they're people who actually are available. They're emotionally available. And I find that by having that crying, there's like this beautiful like plot twist. And so I've learned to actually follow my feelings. Remember that the head is very external, like the eyes, ears, mouth. The body is absolutely almost 100% internal. And so I've just learned so much more to just go with my body and let the head do a little editing at the end. But the body is really the source of content or contentment. And so, yeah, we know that leaders operate intuitively. There's so many quotes from entrepreneurs like Richard Branson, who's a 4, 22-4. He holds their hand 30 seconds. He knows if he's ever going to do business with them. I mean, this is Oprah, all the whoever you like. Not everyone likes all those people, but they all say to you that they're quick, they're fast, they're connected, they do the work. So, in this boss year, this is the year where meditation is no longer a hobby. It's intrinsic to your business practice. It's something that all your staff do, all your clients do. It's just normal. I've been working towards this a long time, as have you. I've been recently doing the numerology of all the different modalities. Astrology is one of the only modalities that has the 1, 2, 3, 3, 6, 9 triad. So this is the CEO energy. You've heard the term millionaires. Oh, what is it? Millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, astrology is perfectly placed to go boom in this next year. But numerology also. Numerology is at a different angle. They're very compatible, but they're not the same. Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling a bit.
No, definitely not.
I've got more to cover, but like, what questions do you have, or what I guess landed for you?
Well, I think that everything always lands. Like everything always lands for me every time you talk. I'm loving the definite sort of even just preventative looking after yourself. And again, this really lines up to the Chinese dragon as well. And so this is what's, why I love all of this, and that there isn't one that's better, because I'm like you. I've numerology and astrology have been my language since I was 9, right? Like it's just what I do, what I know.
Yeah.
And it all comes again to personal responsibility, you being the creator, and those things that you've even talked about, that like understanding, preventing, being aware. And then so this dragon energy that's coming in an 8 year, I mean, I just think it's quite cataclystic, in a way that it had to be. A dragon year isn't always a collective 8 year. It wasn't the last time we had an 8 year in 2015. That wasn't 12 years ago. So the fact that these two are lining up, and then I'm like future hopping at the moment, because 2025 is a 9 and is a snake, and I'm just like, holy shit, like these next couple of years are massive. And for me, when I wrote my 2024 energy survival kit, the whole things around harvest, what you have sowed you will reap, it's all, again, it relates to dragon, it relates to the 8, and even talking about the 8th chakra, which is the soul star chakra, or you can work with stellar gateway or whatever, but coming again, like now we're out of the body, so you're talking about the physical and really maintaining that. And I get acupuncture regularly and work with Chinese herbs, because it's just what works for my body. But again, it's this, like you said, it's preventative, it's putting things into systems. And again, Renee spoke deeply about we'll be lacking the element of fire next year, which is really bad. So we've got so much water and, and the wood, and it's not very conducive. And if you go and listen to that, it's quite a profound chat that we have. But again, it's really lining up with exactly what you're saying. So I'm just like, fanning over here going, yay, this is all amazing. And I love the infinity part of this, around what I wrote here is that infinity symbol is waking us up to claim our magic, because again, for me, an 8 holds, yes, leadership, boss, but this magic as well. But also what you have put in is exactly what you're going to get out. But I loved your correlation to 2020 and how there's sort of this repeat, because that was a 4 year and this is the 8. So I really love that. I didn't think about that. I was like, yeah. And I'm like, I fucking love 2020. 2020 was great for me. I think that the world needed to wake up, and it happened. But I love that correlation. So I think that it's great for people to reflect on 2020, because these feathers may be ruffled again, but also that you, right at the beginning, you said it really quickly, but Sarah mentioned 2017, and she mentioned that because that was the beginning. That was a one. That's right. It was a 1 year. That's right. So I just wanted to speak into that, because now we're reaping what we started in 2017 as a collective. And we can also look at our own micro, but even a macro, and how that affects us. So so much obviously that we could talk about. So
well, thanks always. And so I've got some sort of symbol-y stuff. Okay. When I got together with my husband, it was a very up and down, both very sensitive, artistic types. So I remember we had a big fight, and I thought, I'm going to go away for 3 days. I need to think about our relationship. And so I went away, and for 3 days I just painted this. And I came back and I said, basically, I was like, let's have a baby. Anyway, that's a long story there. And it took a while, but we got there, right? So I did this painting, and I put it in my office. It was at least a year or so. And the motto is, it can only be done with love, which is nice. And so when I was giving birth, I was in front of this painting, and it's interesting, my son has a green aura. Anyway, why am I showing you this? Because we've moved beyond words. it's really about symbolism. So if you're feeling like a lot of your personal work is done, it's because it is. And now the work needs to be done at a systemic and group level. Like I just went to an awesome sound healing festival called OmFest. And I mean, we really need to be in groups and gatherings. And this is where the in-person contact is really important after all the deficit that happened during 2020 in that area. And so I really want to encourage people to gather. And this is about how it took a really big team for us to have a baby. We now have 3 babies. And I couldn't write down what I wanted. I mean, you can just write a baby, but that wasn't like inspiring for me. What I really wanted was I wanted transformational healing where I would never be the same. I wanted to know what it was like to be a creator instead of a reactor, which we know is the same letters, different result, also an 8 energy. And so I just wanted to show you this picture because this is something that this is the type of self-healing I would encourage people to go into. It's very organic, natural, felt. Also, I wanted to mention that, of course, the numerology system 1 to 9 correlates somewhat with the months of pregnancy. So, you know, number 1, oh God, I'm pregnant. Emergency crisis. You know, are we keeping the baby? Are we not keeping the baby? What do we really want? 2, oh, we better tell some people, better get some support. Oh, I'm feeling really emotional about this. 3, I'm super excited. Oh, you know, we're getting there, the baby's growing. Oh my God, this is so cool. 4, oh, you know, just deep feeling. I know my life's completely going to change if this continues. 5, you know, really starting to, often you have a lot of energy by that time in the pregnancy. 6, starting to nest. 7, oh man, feeling really sluggish, neither here nor there. You know, just a real sense of, don't know if I can do this, which of course is that 7 energy we've been sitting in. Maybe doing some study. How am I going to birth? How am I going to parent? 8, full commitment. The baby could come at any time, right? And it's just full commitment, delegation, drop it. Where are we going to put the baby? Do we have enough money? It's just boom, 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 right? The baby's coming. And then 9 actually has the vibration of the word child. You know, 9's where you have the baby. 9 even looks like a little baby, right? And so I just want to say that 8 years, it is like shit hits the fan. But I guess the good news is that there's already something in place, like I said, from maybe 7 or 8 years ago. So that's not like you're starting from scratch, but it's you can't really go back is what I'm saying in your 8 year. And it's not always the time to also radically change directions, and neither is your 9 year. So I did some of that also kind of work because I was thinking about that before the call, that around that last couple of months of pregnancy, you know, people start leaving you alone and you start dropping things, right? You can't keep up the same pace and you know you're going through this kind of like psychic death. And so that 8's kind of a little bit like the great mystery.
And we know so funny that you said the psychic death too, because the 8th sign in the zodiac system is Scorpio, which is death and rebirth, right? Like so that is, and the 8th house represents everything that's occult or that's in the shadows, that's psychic, that's attuned, that is around resources, other people's money, inheritance, you know, that concept, you know, and there is something around silence and retreating away in that 8 energy, which that's amazing.
Well, it's just, I remember, you know, I've been in that 3 times now in the last few years, and it's like everything just becomes so focused, and 8's like the goggles or the glasses, and you just know what you need to do by this point, especially if you feel into it. And of course you're highly psychic because you're about to have a baby. And I just want to mention that the dragon year, of course, is the absolute boom time for babies. So in China there's a gigantic spike in births in a dragon year, and so this is fully like you've got 1 billion people having a dragon year, the most fortunate, the most prosperous year, and it's an 8 year, and there's going to be a baby boom. So it's going to kind of force the issue. Yes, there's going to be a lot of war still. We know that's part of humanity, unfortunately, and there's a huge revolution war energy with the astrology, with the numerology. There's also going to be a lot of hope. There's going to be a lot of children, and there's going to be all those children from 2020, 2021 who are now speaking and who are now vibrating. And I mean, like my little 3-year-old, you know, they can do stuff that we couldn't do. And they're doing full chakra healings and like philosophy. They're ready to teach, those little professors. My little guy, so he's is he 3? Can't remember now. God, that's embarrassing. He's almost 3. So someone said to us, oh, you know, I scream at my child. And I'm like, yeah, look, we scream at our children. It happens. My little 3-year-old, he's so little. And he comes up and he holds her and he says, don't yell, be kind. I mean, these children are awake now, and our world will never be the same.
Yeah.
They'll be activating their parents, their grandparents, their teachers, generational change at that level. The children are no longer children. They're almost all old souls, because Earth is at this very unusual turning point, and the people choosing to come here are all experienced, I personally believe.
And also just that an 8 word, I think you were saying earlier, like faith, karma, and God are all 8s.
All the
big
right? Words: commitment, eternity, happiness, medicine. Oh, so many big words at 8. Oops, but I'm sorry, I just hit my painting. And you know, 8 is all in. I have been in an 8 personal year this year. I'm always 1 year ahead or 8 years behind. I mean, I'm always
collective. Yeah,
it could be either, really.
Yeah.
And I've really been feeling this 8 year. There was just a lot of pure joy, and there was just a lot of pure like just pain, just full pain. And the difference is, with my background, I was just able to just go into the pain, fully explore it, find the timelines and lineage. One thing we should mention is all the ancestral patterns will be breaking in 2024. It was an interesting year, and I'll be honest with you. So I am the age that my parents were when their marriage was rocky. I knew it was coming. It coincided with my chart. It's been coming for like 42 years. I knew this, and it was really rocky. Really rocky. I just needed a little bit more space, a bit more healing. Chris and I are really good, but I felt it come in, because in my DNA, like, that's what happened in my life. You can't ignore history. And this is why I love numerology for families. I think it's really important we know the major things that happened to our parents and when, and even things like their life past, because it does influence us, even if we don't talk to them or their past. This was our blueprint to begin with. So it's just a suggestion to people. Sometimes it's really yours. Sometimes it's not so much yours. It's like, know the difference. This is where you need the education or maybe some feedback from other people, right?
And I love that you even did say, like, this, an 8 year, it is time to work with professionals, and, you know, that it is time to, and not just, you know, but it's just time to, I don't know, it seems like it's get real, like you said,
invest
get real
in yourself.
Yes,
because there's that quote on my site. If you think it's expensive to work with a professional, try an amateur. Now, I remember when I put that up, that's not my quote, by the way. I put it up. I got a lot of shit thrown at me from people. Who do you think's an amateur? What's an amateur? What? And I got into a lot of trouble because I put like a price range. I said below here it's about half. I don't do that anymore. I learned.
But I mean, I quote Henry Rollins' quote, like, you know, experience, you know, knowledge without experience is bullshit. It's the same thing, right? Like, knowledge without experience is bullshit. It doesn't matter how much you know if you're not embodying that and practicing. And that's the real different thing around, like, there's this element of wisdom, right? Like, so knowledge, and this is, you know, I run a 12-month container, and this is what it's based on. You might know something, and I'll see clients, oh, I know. I said, yeah, but you don't. Because knowing something and being it and actioning it, that's wisdom. Wisdom comes with action. Wisdom comes with embodiment. Wisdom comes with, when you know better, you do better. Not just when you know better, oh, you know, and you just keep doing it. Oh, I know, but I'll just keep doing it. And I really feel the wisdom of the 8 as well. I think 8 is a very wise number. There's something around the 8. I know that 9 is too, but again, like, I connect 8 to Saturn, which is around lessons and harvest and karma and wisdom. And, you know, there's a lot of other numerologists that don't believe that Saturn relates, but from an astrology perspective, that's where I go.
I think it really does.
Yeah, I do too.
I have to say, like, having studied 8s a lot, my mum's an 8. And, you know, it took her 13 years to watch one of my classes. And the only way I could get her to watch it is I ran the class about her. It was called Why You Chose Your Mother, and it was all about my mum. So she had to watch it. And she wrote back and said, I really like your class. I like the part where you said that I always say no. And I'm like, yeah, thanks, Mum. That's the gift she gave me. She just like, no. There was no,
yes, and that
there
is
was
so
no like, oh, I'm sorry about that. It was, she'd just be like, no.
yes.
And her no was really like, full stop, do not talk back. And that, you know, that's one of the many gifts I got from my mum, who is a very tough lady. And so 8s are interesting because they often are unpopular, but they are so powerful.
Yeah.
And it's like, can you open your ears to the truth? We know that Asians are a little renowned for being like that. Let's face it. I've been doing a lot of comedy about them. And I mean, Asians, you know, especially if your second language is, you know, English, I mean, you really just kind of blurt it out. I mean, it's very common in Asia to say things like, you know, you meet them and they go, oh, what's your job? Oh, how much do you make a year? Are you married? Why are you so fat? It's just a thing. It's a data check. Some of those things I think can be a bit more diplomatic, but other things, they could save your life. They could save your business. Maybe no one in your field is brave enough to call you out on stuff. And so having some 8 energy, maybe having some Asians around, not a bad thing. No, not a bad thing.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, we're pretty renowned for that.
And I love that, you know, your mum says no. Like my eldest daughter is a 44/8.
Oh, gosh.
I know. But so she's born on the 18th of the 8th, 1998 at 7:48, and she's a 44/8. Like
that
it's
is
wild.
a very interesting. I will have to follow her because, you know, I've only got a few 8s listed on my 44/8 pages.
Yeah, because it is a little bit of a rarer one. I don't find 44/8 very much.
I know about 4 or 5. The Master Manifester, the boss of all bosses. I like it very much.
Yeah, no, she's rad. And so, yeah, she says no all the time. She just says no, like the younger girl, oh, can we? No. And I'm like, and you're saying that about your mum. And I'm like, yeah, that is Zanadia. That is Zanadia.
It is. And what's really interesting is that because 8's the closed number out of all the numbers, it has the most closure, literally. And so sometimes they actually really struggle because they're not happy, but they're unwilling to admit what's going on. So, you know, if you are friends with an 8, and it can take a long time to get their trust, you know, if they do open up, it's very important to just drop in. And the 9s are the same. They don't ask for help much. And when the 8s and 9s come in, I'll just drop. I'll just find them a spot, you know, because it's just not often that they get to that point.
Yeah. And so 2024 will be big for life path 8s, 44/8s, 8 personal year, and even if you're born on the 8th.
8 name number.
8 name, yep.
8 number business, that would be huge. Lots of 8s in your date of birth, say 2 or 3 at least, born on the 8th. But so these will be in descending order. So we should just organize that because otherwise I can feel it's a bit blurred.
Okay. So
obviously the biggest one would be if you had an 8 life path.
Yes.
And then we'd probably be looking at like 8 destiny, so name number, and that full name or even no name because that's like a brand. And then just like multiple 8s anywhere else. 8 personal year is somewhere in there, but it's probably not at the top. 8 day number is in there, but probably not at the top. However, you don't have to do all the maths. The good news is Spirit is so smart. If you see 888, 808, 818, all that stuff, you probably have 8s in your chart. So that's another way to just know. And it could well happen after you watch this video because, look, it may not even be that you have 8s in your chart, but you are married to one or it's your child and they're not open to this stuff. So therefore the energy will often come via you, redirect the mail. And so my biggest tip really is if you see 8s, that will be your number one signal. This is a big year. And what does a big year mean? It means like just go there, touch it, move it, shift it instead of just going, I'll do it later, I'll think about it. Like, you know, we spend, 40, 50 hours at work. What if you just spent 40, 50 hours on your purpose in a week? Well, you would probably know what it was, right? And yet you almost never see people do that. Yeah, do you, Tiani? How many people just sit down for a week, 40, 50 hours just on their purpose? Am I happy with my life? Am I, I've done that. That's actually when I started my business. I did something like that. So it's just amazing, isn't it? It's just amazing how little we invest in ourselves.
The investment word is really good. I like the invest word.
Well, so I have a bit of a habit of spending money. Trust me, I'm definitely working on that with the team. But I remember at one point I just had to reframe it as in I'm just a very enthusiastic investor. So I'll see someone start a business and I'm always like the first, let's go, I'll buy your book, I'll join your course. And I've had to learn. I've had to learn to really check in But I am this enthusiastic, passionate investor in others, and I've had to learn to receive, through my Patreon and my world changes. And so I don't know if you know, but in the last 1 year since I talked to you, I completely changed my business. I was doing a lot of ad hoc readings, and now most of it is programs. They just sign up either ongoing or for 6 months, and that's been amazing. And I have to say, people like you, and there's a few others, my mentors, they've really shown me that that's okay. That can be deeply satisfying, and it's okay to work with less people. It's not always about having, I've got 1 million people I've worked with. It's what, for like 10 seconds each, what does that even mean? So thanks for the reminder to choose that quality over quantity.
The 2 words I was just about to say. Yes.
So my way to sum up the 8 year, bigger is not always better. Better is better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so that's the main thing. So a lot of people might feel, oh, it's an 8 year, and so I have to sort of like, be very extreme. It's like yes and no. You want to be extreme with your dreams, but you also want to have extreme support. You want a feedback loop, and you want to be regularly checking in with your breath and your body. Money and breath have the same vibration. How often is it that they're like, save your breath, save your money, save your energy? How many people are short of breath and they're short of money? It's so interesting, isn't it? Because when you're short of breath, you don't make good decisions. So breath work is another thing I really want to encourage people to delve into. Is that something you've done a bit of?
Yeah, it's not something that I do daily, but also, the word just abundance too. Abundance is often, straight away, if people talk about abundance, they think magically money, but it's actually not money. Abundance is feeling full. And I think that the 8 is very much an abundant number, and something that I often share around, whether it's your personal 8 year or we'll see from 2017 to next year, is, all of the apples on the tree are ready. The abundance of what you've been working on for 8 years is ripe now. Everything's ripe. It's rich, maybe, perhaps rich in very different ways, not just financially. Yes, 8 is good for finances, money, business, entrepreneur, all those sorts of things, but also abundance. Are you feeling abundant? And you look at that tree and you look at the apples. Some of them might be golden, some of them might be rotten. What is the quality? Exactly what you were talking about. What is the quality and not the quantity on that apple tree? Because we see many people with maybe 1 million apples on their tree. Most of them are rotten. Let's just be honest. We all know that. We all know those people, and they've got a lot of rotten.
Oh my God, I've just had a run-in with one of them.
Yes, all the rotten apples. But then someone else might have 100 apples and they're all golden. There's not as many on there, but they're rich and they're abundant and they're golden. And also, a word I want to also say in an 8 year is to share, because that is around that reciprocity. I cannot even say that word.
What you give is what you get. What goes around comes around.
That's right. It is. It's and that's how I always see the infinity sign. Is it's like you said. I love that you said it's a closed number, because like the zero, like it is. It's just it's coming and it's going, and it can't hold.
It doesn't waste. I was just looking into like founder of Oz Harvest, and a few like, because I was in the charity area for so long, and just that like close the loop. Like, where do you waste your time, energy, and money? Or where, because maybe that is the thing. If you change that, everything will just go boom.
Exactly, and really
I wanted
grow.
to say,
I love that.
Often we do call 8 the year of abundance, but I had to laugh because when you said abundance, I saw someone dancing with a bun, and I thought that's very Asian. It's a little with
the bun, literally with the bun.
Having fun as well. And I think if we talk about the 80-20 rule, that would be relevant. When I was in fundraising, I worked for the Pareto group. Pareto is the principle, the 80-20 rule by the Italian philosopher. And this is where 20% of your people can create 80% of your results or profit. 20% of your efforts can create 80% of your success. I have to tell you, like, I have not the biggest community, but they are all in. They're my bun dancers. And I know you're the same. And so it's so interesting, because you can have a very, I guess, successful and satisfying business with maybe not such a big group, but it's about people who are lifers. They're lifers, and so there's actually less effort required overall, but I think a little bit more authenticity needed at the start, because to attract someone like that, I mean, you really have to be truly yourself. They are generally very good at spotting crap. But once they're in, usually, these are the people I have lots of children come to my classes, they bring their grandparents, or I really enjoy that. I'm a sort of a buffet type person.
I love it.
And so this is the new style of business, the 11-11 style. I know you do that, I do that. I think a lot more people are realizing that, the top, at the top of the ladder, as they say, there's no oxygen. And really, why do we need to climb a ladder anyway? I mean, who created that as joy?
Yeah.
If you put a ladder, a kid's not going to climb it. They'll be like, oh, someone left a ladder here and it might fall on someone. Does anyone know why this is here? It's an occupational and health and safety risk. I'll just be over here playing with a flower. A ladder is just dead wood.
Yeah.
So in this wood dragon year, it'll be interesting how much dead wood we suddenly recognize.
Definitely. Yeah, I love it. I'm actually really excited about this 8 year. And even just the 8th tarot card too is the strength card, which is the lion, which is Leo, so we've got the 888. So that portal actually becomes not just the friggin' white noise bullshit on social media that everyone wants to talk about, and sell their manifesting fucking codes and manifesting fucking courses.
Can you please have a TV show?
Oh my god!
Please have a TV show so that I can watch it.
Oh my god! So, but, and this is the thing, and this is what I've always taught my community, is that numbers are magic, right? Like they're portals, they're things. So when you do hear some people talking 88, it wasn't because it become a thing 6 years ago on social media where you want to manifest and fucking light your candle and turn around and chakra this and fucking chakra that. Like it's not that. Like it's still just the 88. But next year, obviously, we are in that collective 8 year. So the 888, it will be that 888 energy. And that is really quite magical. And we're in the energy of the strength card of the tarot, which is the lion, which has the infinity sign above his head in some of the tarot decks. So, it is a year of strength as well, and resilience. But my biggest thing is this heart sharing, like it's just share your abundance, share your riches, share. And that's a thing with Saturn. That's a thing with the 8th house, is the sharing. When you hold on, you stay stuck, you stay in greed or whatever that is that you're holding.
You stay in your comfort zone. Yeah. Can I share a story? So I'm a teacher basically, but I learned a lot of it from my family. A lot of my family are teachers and lecturers. Anyway, my dad is very cheeky. So he's like a lifelong learner. And I remember he's been very successful in TV, and they got him in to teach at university. Now, he'd never taught at university. So what he did is he'd just read the textbook. And then he said, as long as you just stay one chapter ahead, you're good. And he was really voted one of the best speakers because he was just so raw. I mean, he was just trying to encapsulate all his knowledge while teaching, and just no bullshit. And it's interesting because when I started teaching palmistry, I started so small, and I remember my first lessons were free, and then no one came back because they thought it was a cult. So then I had to charge $10. But I'm always just only a little bit ahead. I really don't think of myself as a huge authority. Even in my last Patreon class on numerology, I was teaching and I was still reading a little bit from a textbook. That's my 50th call. There's always more, and I can't store it all in my head.
As an astrologer, you will never, ever, ever know it all. Even when you can rattle things off, I'm still looking at textbooks, researching, looking at that aspect, to say that you're not then you're just, I don't know, and even being intuitive and psychic and having those abilities and being able to nail it doesn't matter. You want information. That for me is so important, and to continue to grow and learn and stay curious. And yeah, I love still, I've got thousands of astrology books, and I'm constantly looking at them. And I was going to say, so I feel like libraries will be very important in the next year. And it's interesting because I learned a long time ago, it wasn't about owning all the books. It was about kind of knowing which books when, by who, and I would just kind of intuitively know, pick this one up, put that one down, get that one. And they would just books would just come to me. I got a couple in the mail today. People just send me books. And so just that more about
the quality of the content, but also those spiritual libraries are very important in those next couple of years for humanity, which is learning from our past. So things like mediumship, talking to your ancestors, even like work with like ghosts, or, you know, we talk to like famous people in spirit. I mean, that's very, very powerful because they have made the mistakes, they know better. And then, yeah, like I said, working with our jumbo angels, our higher selves, working with our future selves is really important. So just really widening who we consult. Not just the people in front of us, but the people within us, the people around us, the people who've come before. And I feel like what this is going to bring up is, you know, Ada, is a lot about authority. And people struggle. They're like, I could never charge because I'm not an authority. But I think it's, you know, that's the broken paradigm, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, who decided who was smart to begin with? And why is it that only smart people get the money? I mean, like, that's so interesting, don't you think?
Yeah, yeah.
And so... yeah, I think if we just have to bring it right back to experience counts, experience is important. Experience is like the most important thing really going forwards in your leadership is how do they deal with problems? Do they deal with problems? That's why leader is dealer as an anagram. If they don't deal with problems, they're not really a leader. And that's
so leader and dealer, yeah, it is.
They're the same energy, you know, they're the same letters. And if you don't deal with stuff, you're actually not being the leader.
True. And I love that. And I also love all your words, because I've got Mercury and Gemini. So words for me are just like literally like mini orgasms constantly. And so
that has got to be a quote t-shirt too.
Yes.
I'm going to write that down right now.
So, but you also said at the beginning that creator and reactor, they're the same. And did you say that they're both 8 words as well?
Yeah, they both add to 35.
Yes.
So
again, you're creating in the 8 or you're reacting to the 8. I think that that's a really strong point. I don't want anyone to miss that. We both talk quite quickly and we say a lot, but we're also downloading things.
You're perfect.
People.
And creator, you know, you see yourself as the source of the timeline. Reactor, you see yourself as squashed in the middle of the subway, and it's very unpleasant. That's not to say you can't be like a person who's really flexible and responsive, but to always be a reactor, even if you just add the word nuclear in front of that, you're going to constantly be having meltdowns, and, you know, it's not the safest way to operate, let's put it that way. But look, there's going to be some level of reactivity in any life. It's just make sure you set aside the time and space to have that creative time. And, you know, that's why I do painting and dancing and things, but everyone's got their own path to that, of course. The most creative thing really you can do is to go hang out in nature.
Exactly.
Nature is the ultimate art gallery.
It is. Oh,
well,
that sounds...
Thanks always, Tiana. You're a beautiful human being and you bring out the best in people.
Oh, thank you, Sarah. You're so beautiful. I love listening to you. I love being in your energy and talking to you. I hope that has given everyone lots of insight and words. And, you know, again, it's the words. I love the words. And I love that you will bring in all of those different words to share with us. So I hope that that's, really ignited and seeded lots of stuff for everyone to get ready for this very powerful 8 year of the dragon, which is just quite amazing. And I just want to thank you so much, Sarah, for coming back on to this panel and giving us your time and your wisdom. It's always appreciated. And I look forward to, connecting and seeing you very soon, darling.
Absolutely. I feel like there's some important things that we'll be creating, and thank you for just being in the world and being in my life. It really makes a difference. Thank you. I read all your posts.
Thank you.
I don't read many posts, can I just say, but I always read your posts because I don't know why. I always like feel. I can just always feel when you write. I can't always feel when other people write. You know what I mean? Like if they use AI and stuff, I just don't.
Yeah. Ugh.
But your ones, I always feel like you're just right there. Like, hello, did you know?
Yes, I write like I speak, and that's what most of the feedback I do get is that
I think you write like you hug.
Yes, I do. I write like I am because I don't know.
It's just
exactly. Welcome to the land of Tiani. Yes,
I'm not letting go of you.
That's right. Oh, I'm not letting go of you. I love it.
Oh, thanks so much, Tiani.
Thank you so much. And thanks everyone for watching. Let us know what you think and contact us and do all the things, and sending you all so much love on the 2024 journey, riding that dragon into the 8 energy. So much love. Bye.